Hey, everybody. I'm back. It is Thursday morning. It is 6:50 in the morning. I'm so tired. Um, got my cup of blood. Delicious. And back onto my nonsense. God, I'm tired. I was up talking with friends last night till too late. Midnight. I'm on 6 hours of sleep, which I used to be able to do. I used to be able to do that all the time with no trouble, but not these days. All right. Let's see. What am I going to work on today? Let's start doing some UI stuff. I need to add some buttons. Need to add some buttons. Yeah, right here. We'll call this one import. Call this one export. New, open, import, export. Hey, Judd. Don't go to stand-ups. Stand-ups are stupid. Oh. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, well, that's you should do what I do. I stream on Tuesday and Thursdays because I run stand-ups Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Your stand-up's only 15 minutes, right? I'll still be here. Unless you have one of those horrible hour-long stand-ups. Sometimes they can get away from you. It's funny, I do. How many stand ups do I do a week? 3, 8. I do 8 stand ups in 5 days. I do 3 for my own team, and then I participate in 5 from another team. And the the 5 I was in, they were getting out of hand, and the guy running them finally said, "Look, we got to cut this out. This they shouldn't be this long." And we did. We cut them down. Everybody was happy. Oh, I forgot about icons. I'm going to need more icons. All right, let's do the icons. There's always so much more work to do with these things when you start getting into it. I don't mind UI work, but I also wish I didn't have to do it. There we go. Do I just have one icon per? Yeah, I do. Okay. That's not what my save icon looks like, is it? Oh, I don't have a save icon. I did have a save icon, but I don't anymore. Yeah, okay. All right. Import looks like arrow. Let's say, how thick is this line? Yeah, okay. Let's say something like that. We'll call this toolbar import normal, just because I'm following the same convention I was using before. And we'll flip it and call this toolbar export. And then, as per usual, I'm going to put them in the game and see how they look. Import. Export. It's not bad. They're a little thin compared to the other ones. It's not bad, actually, though. Let's see. Let's see if we can do better. That does look better. I think maybe let's do this. Let's do that. And let's put a box around it. Oops. No, I don't like the box. Hey, Screamless. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Like this arrow here, you mean? Like that guy. Yeah, maybe. I've also got these undo arrows that kind of would make sense. You know what I need to do? You reminded me that I need to look up reference. Always look up reference. Let's see what other people do. Those actually make sense. I was maybe kind of on the right track with the boxes. You're kind of taking something out of a box into a box. Download, upload, export, import. I kind of like these. Those are nice. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna try this guy. let's see. Yeah, so let's see. Let's erase this. And we'll move this up a little bit. And then we'll add that. Yeah, that's okay. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Let's stick with that. Let's try that. I don't know if it makes sense with the box on the other side like that. See, they're coming out of the box and going back into the box. That makes more sense. Out of the box, into the box. That's what I thought. That was my intuition as well. This works better if it's like that. Like that. Yeah. Is the thing centered? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It just doesn't look centered. I guess it is. It's an optical illusion. It's weird. Alright, let's see how it looks in the game. Yeah, I like those. I'm going to keep those. Those are great. Done. Next task. Disconnect. Connect. Disconnect. Connect. And then I want to move these near onload. Because I kind of like having all these little related functions kind of near each other. Excuse me. All right. Export campaign. Gravity, PNG. All right. This should be export. I don't have an import function yet. Right, so now this will just open the folder. Done. And then this export will do that stuff that I just pasted in there. Okay, so I need probably some kind of success dialog or something that lets you know it happened. But here's what I wanted to show you guys. So I did a couple of different things. One, here's the original one export format that we worked out before. It's just a text file. It's great. It works fine. You can copy and paste it. You can send it in an email. That's kind of neat. You could post it into a Discord. You could put it on a Dropbox. You could put it in a Google Doc. There's lots of different ways you could transport this around. You couldn't post it in a Twitter. It's way too long. You couldn't, what else couldn't you do? You couldn't put it in a TikTok. That's fine. I don't care about those. Who would post a level text in a TikTok? A monster, that's who. You couldn't put it in a YouTube video. I mean, yeah. Yes. But all the important ways you want to share a text file, you could commit it into a GitHub repository. You could put it on a website. You could do lots of good things with it. Okay, so this is a useful, good format. The other ones I thought of were these. So look at this. This is a PNG file, and this block here is the level data. Pretty cool, huh? It's just encoded into the image. And then here's another version of the encoding. Look at that. This is the level data all encoded in this image. So it's obviously binary, right? It's all in here. And then, but you can share this wherever you would share images. It's a relatively small image. It's 1.2 megabytes, right? Which is basically the same size as the, oh no, it's much bigger. So this is 48K, this text file format. This image is 1.2 megs. This one's 788K. So it's significantly bigger to do the image, but a 1 megabyte image is fairly easy to move around. And then my buddy Nick, I was talking to him about this last night, and he said, you should do something like this and encode the image onto something like this. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's kind of like, I want something that looks like a cartridge. Hey, Robert. The idea was it was inspired by the Pico 8 engine. I don't know if you guys know about Pico 8. But Pico 8, oh god, that ad, uses a PNG image format for their cartridges. Pico 8 cartridges. Right, so if I download this game, can I download it? Maybe not. I don't know, there's probably some way to download it, but when you download a cartridge, or you create a game and you save it, you can save it as a PNG file. And it takes a screenshot, and it's a small little 160 by 200 pixel image, and they encode about 32K of data into that image using Steganography, basically. Yeah, Steganography. So they take the RGBA channels, which are 8 bits each, and they take the least 2 significant bits of each of those channels, RGBA. So there's 4 channels times 2 bits, which means per pixel they store 1 byte of information. So in a 160 by 205 pixel image, they can store 32,800 bytes. And Pico 8 cartridges are the data, everything. It's very small. I'm sure he compresses it, and that's enough for his games, for their games. For me, my level data is like 500K. It's significantly bigger, and it could even get bigger than that, depending on who makes the game and what they're making. So I needed more data. So in this format, I think what I'm doing, in this example, what I'm doing here is I'm using all 32 bits of the pixel data in this section, So 4 bytes per pixel, and I'm storing it right there. Actually, this is a non-transparent PNG, so it's probably 3 bytes per pixel. And then this is 3 bytes per pixel storing 48K. Let me do another one. If I load a different campaign, this is a megabyte of data. Oop. Export. So this is a megabyte of data, right? And then here's what a megabyte of data looks like. Here's what a megabyte of data looks like. So in this one, I think I'm storing it in the blue channel. So I'm using 1 byte per pixel. And then this is 1200 by 688. So there's something wrong here, because I think what's happening is this isn't enough data. This isn't enough to store all this data, so it's probably getting cut off. So there's some bugs here. But I could compress this data before I stored it, and it would be about half the size, so then it would fit. Or I could extend the image if it's too big. But I start running into these weird problems. I just don't know if it's worth it. A friend of mine was saying that this would encourage people to share it because it's kind of cool. But is it though? I don't know. How would you even know it's cool unless you did it? There is something about it, though, that is interesting to me. I just don't know if this image looks good, for one, and it's difficult to come up with an algorithm for doing this. I mean, this might be just enough. That might be fine. Image 3D, very similar concept, embeds 3D data into an image. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, there's a simpler way to do this too. Is I found out you can actually take. I might have deleted it. Yeah, so this one manipulates the pixel data per pixel. This one manipulates the raw byte array. Where the heck did it go? This one manipulates the rare byte array data. And this version actually sets pixel data. Get pixel, set pixel. It just loops through the whole thing. Actually really fast. You know, it takes a couple of seconds, but it's pretty fast. But there's another way you can do it where if you have a PNG image, you can actually just skip all the way to the end, past the token that marks the end of the PNG, and then just start appending whatever data you like. And you end up with these PNG files that are viewable, but if you open them in a text editor, you can see a bunch of binary data, and then you see a bunch of text data at the end. The trouble with that is it seems shareable, but a lot of different platforms will strip out that extra data because they re-encode the PNG. They either convert the format to something else, or they compress it, or they do something to it, and then the PNG, all that data ends up getting stripped out. Which I suppose is a problem with using steganography as well. If you resize the image, it would ruin it. It would ruin the data. If you change the color of the image, it would ruin the data. If you cropped the image, it would ruin the data. It's a similar problem that happens. Yeah, it does feel destined to go wrong, right? There's a lot of ways this could go wrong. So for those reasons alone, and because I want to ship this game at some point, I think I might shelve this idea. Ooh, I'm coming to a decision. I might shelve this idea and then put it on my cool ideas shelf and revisit it later. Maybe the next project. Maybe this project, maybe a post-launch project. I could do this for fun. And for now, I could just call it done with the text format. Am I brave enough to not do this new feature that I want to do? Let's campaign PNG, PNG2. Let's create a branch. Let's call it feature. Let's call it Steganography save files. Steganographic. I don't know. This is a weird word. And then let's commit that, and that, and that. Yeah, let's commit all of that. Experimental Steganographic save format. Campaign export format. And then let's go back to main. And then I want to cherry pick some of this stuff. How do I cherry pick? Can I not cherry pick from this interface? Maybe not. Oh, that's a bummer. Devil, welcome. This is not TypeScript. This is GD script, which is a Python-like language for an engine called Godot engine for doing game development. It's Python-ish, but it's not Python. No semicolons. No parens around the if statements. And obviously the standard library is all completely different. Well, that bums me out that there's no way to cherry pick. That can't be right, can it? This code get... All right, whatever. Let's do this. Let's just be a little bit messy, and we will merge this back in. So I shouldn't have even created the branch. Well, it's fine. Hey, Javi. Oh, you know what I can do? I can actually just look at the wonder. Let's do this. Let's just check this out. Okay, again. And then we'll just copy some files. So, going into Gravy, game, singletons, I want you. And I'm going to copy you here. Let's delete all of this. And get out of the way. We're going to go into here, and we're going to copy you and you. And, oops. We're going to go in here, and we're going to copy you and you here. And then we'll go back to main, check out, and then we'll copy these back. So you and you will go here, and you will go here, and you will go here. Now my working tree should have all that stuff back. Yeah, it does. All right, so now I can go into my working. Yeah, reload. Do your thing. So here I can just remove those, and then here I can delete this stuff. Before I delete it though, before I delete it, so let me just show you what it does is it creates all this text data, which I'm keeping from my regular export campaign function here. But then instead of just saving out the text data, what it does is it loads the cart image, calls this lock function. I guess you have to lock the image before you can manipulate the pixels, and then it just loops through all the pixels or some slice of the pixels, and then just changes the red channel in this case. It gets the color of each pixel and then changes the red channel with the data that I want to store into it, the green channel and the blue channel, and then sets that pixel back. Right, so I'm encoding, in this case, I'm encoding 3 bytes per pixel back into the original image, and then it goes to the next one, then it unlocks it, and then it saves the PNG. Pretty simple. This version does basically the same thing. It loads the cart image, converts all the image data to UTF-8, blah, blah, blah. But then it actually starts looping through just the image data, the text data, and directly manipulates these pool byte arrays. And there's the byte array is just the RGB, RGB, RGB in a one-dimensional array for the entire image. And it just copies that in. In this case, it starts on the B channel and then skips ahead 3 each time. So it's encoding 1 byte per channel in the blue channel, and then saves that PNG. They're both pretty fast. I think this method's a little faster, but Godot gives you all the functions for manipulating the images, saving out the data, doing the steganography, which is pretty cool. And it was simple. It's just making it look good, handling all the edge cases. That's hard, which is why I'm shelving that idea for now. Good morning. Good morning. Javi and Max, you guys are up early with me. Are you feeling as tired as I am? Dwarf Ninja, you can cherry pick and Git Kraken. Highly recommend it. I tried Git Ninja or Git Kraken a couple of times, and the thing that annoyed me about it was that it made you sign up for an account, and then it kept pushing their paid stuff onto you, and I was like, I'm done with this nonsense. Hey, Deep Entertains, hello, how you doing? Bits per pixel, can you increase the bits per pixel for PG from 8 to something else? I think you can, actually. I think you can do, there's a format, there's an image format where it's like RGB 32, where it's actually like 16 or 32 bits per pixel, or per color channel, per pixel. So I think you can store up to something like 16 bytes per channel if you get tricky with it. But then, you know, just thinking about that, I thought about that, but then I thought, are those even standard PNG files? Will people even be able to open them? If you save it again, what does the computer do? I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of those questions. You're a morning person, me too. My eyes just pop open at 6:30, whether I want them to or not. I suppose it's a blessing. All right, so let's just test this real quick and make sure it still all works. This does nothing, and this very quickly exports a text file, I hope. There she blows. There it is. All right, let's write our importer real quick. I'm going to stage all this, and that way I can see the differences between what I've staged and what I do here now before I commit. Because I know all that stage stuff works. Let's put this, make this global. Because I'm going to need it in this method as well. All right. So we're going to open a file for reading using this pattern. It's going to open import file name. And if it fails, it's going to just quit for now. Then we're going to read and parse this line. And we have to be careful when we're importing. When you're exporting, you're building the file yourself from data that's in memory that you know is good. But when you're importing, you have to be more careful and you have to be more defensive because you're reading data that you don't know where it came from or what it does. You got to verify that it's in the right format. So we're going to check this first line when we read it in. Let's call it line equals... let's rename this. Input dot oh, maybe I should do get as text. Just load the whole thing into memory first and then process it there. Nah. Let's just do get line. And then I need to check it. This line should say campaign blah blah blah. 4:30 p.m. there. Ooh, what do you want to tell me, Judd? You have to close your file handles. When your return false, you are leaving handles open. Am I muted? Oh, okay, you can't hear me. Yeah, that does make sense. This is where Go is a nice language. In Go, you can do, I forget the syntax, but you basically say something like defer, and you tell it, what you want it to do. And then no matter how the function exits, it runs that code just before it leaves. So I could do this. And I can do this. And I could do this. Maybe I'll do that. Because he's right, I think. If I just return and this file handle's open, I think it'll stay open. Maybe it won't. Because won't this output loop, this output will go out of scope. And when the file goes out of scope, when this file variable goes out of scope, does it close itself? I'll bet it does. Files are automatically closed only if the process exits normally, such as by clicking the Window Manager's Close button. If you stop the project execution while pressing F8 while the project is running, the file won't be closed as the game process will be killed. You can work around this by calling flush at regular intervals. Only if the process exits normally. Okay. I wonder if anybody's asked this question. Does Godot close files when variable leaves scope? Python does. When the file object is destroyed. See, that kind of makes sense to me. I think I would have to dig through the source code to see what it's doing. But I'll bet almost anything. That when this variable loses scope and this function returns, the variable is destroyed. And when it's destroyed, I'll bet it closes the file. So maybe I don't need this. I haven't said that before. Probably you've said this before, but why are you not using resources to export and instead build the export file yourself? That's a good question. I've never really worked with resources before. This thing, right? Load resource files, load and save resource files. I mean, what format are these even in? See, I don't know anything about this. Path type. You got a link for me on documentation for it? I mean, the short answer is I kind of like my own formats. And then actually in the actual level data itself, when you're playing the game, I do use built-in stuff. I'm using config file. I'm using this to load and save my data, the level data. But I guess that would beg the question, well, why don't you just save a scene file or a pack or something like that? And I don't know. I just kind of I like these non-binary formats. And I don't know if it would be any easier to not do it this way. Right, so I have this, it's just this, it's a config file. It's very simple to work with. You can look at it in a text editor. All right, let's check this out. Users can also script resources. Resource scripts inherit the ability to freely translate between object process, serialized text, or binary data, TRES or res. Many distinct advantages over alternative data structures. Resource scripts inherit the ability to freely translate. I don't know what that means. Is there an example? Export resource var stats. Preload data. Resource saver. Godot specific resource types. Resource format saver classes registered in the engine to save engine specific resource data to text-based or binary files, TRES or tscene. Interesting. So what are you doing? You're like taking your level data, which is a bunch of nodes, and putting them all in like some parent node, and then saving that section of the tree as a TRES? Something like that? Yeah, hey Devil, I am reading the chat. Deep Entertains is asking, why don't I use resource loader and recess saver? You basically store the data to generate the nodes again. And that data is what, like the node path to its scene file, something like that? And like its position? Arrays, dictionaries, okay. data type. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. So you've got these data types, and you have an array. So I guess if I was to do it in the inspector, you might have like oops, like a test. Okay. Something like this, right? And then you would save this in with the resource somehow. I kind of get the idea. Like if you had all these variables set up with all your level data, and then you could just save this script as a resource, a TRES file, say, and then when you load this TRES file back in, you get access to all of these properties automatically. Create a class that extends resource. Okay, I get it. So you get this you get a nicer kind of type aware save format that serializes and deserializes your data automatically. That would be nice. I can see that being nice. So what I did was not that. I used this config file, and in my editor, where is editor? Oops, let me undo, I say. So this is why I staged that. Save level. So here I'm actually just iterating through all of my different nodes, and rather than building a resource that I can save, I create a config file and just start writing values into the config file. And then the opposite, when I load the level, I just load those values back from the config file. Yeah, let's see here. I get loops through all of the children and then saves out the data that I need for each object in the game. Is one better than the other? I don't know. Maybe your way is better. Custom resources aren't 100% supported by the inspector. That's fine. That's a neat idea. I mean, I might use that for my next project. That ship has sailed for this one. I can't use it for this one. But I will keep it in mind for the next time. Alright, so I F'd that up. I lost that. Oh wait, no I didn't. It's here. So I want to check, I want to get, let's see, how do I do this? If line.starts, no, begins, if not, right? If it doesn't begin with campaign, if the first line doesn't begin with campaign, there's something wrong. Otherwise, campaign equals line.replace campaign. That. Let's just see if that prints. So here I'm going to do campaign.import. And I'm going to give it a file name. And that file name is going to be this file name, test campaign. Like that. Hey, Harvest, thanks for following. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be home John downloads. And if I run this, it should print out a campaign name when I click this button. It did not. It did not. Let's break here. Opened the file. It, oh, read nothing. But it opened the file. But then the first line is blank. Deep Entertains, thank you, buddy. Is that file actually empty? Did I screw up? Yeah, I did. Alright, let's do this. Let's export again. Export. Go here. Copy. Delete. Save. Right? This one has some stuff in it. And then import. And empty again. Oh, I'm doing right. I'm doing right. I've got to read the file. Don't write the file. I'm overwriting it. What a dope. Export. Delete. Rename. 48K. Import. There it is. There's the campaign. There's the first line. It starts with campaign, so it's fine. And it creates this new variable campaign right there. That's the campaign folder name. Okay. Oh man, what time is it? All right, I got 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. Yeah, why isn't it reading the file? Oh, because I'm deleting it as soon as I open it. That old bug. All right, then I want to actually read the next line and just throw it away because this is the separator. And then I will read the next line, which is going to be the meta. There's a meta file. And for this, I need a loop. So I'm going to start a loop. While true, dangerous, line equals input.getLine. Well, let's do this. While line does not equal while not line dot begins with that. So while it's going to keep getting these lines, and while that line does not begin with separator, so I need this, right? So this is the first line of the meta config, and then I need a variable for meta, and meta line, right? breakpoint output says meta. There it is. Oh, interesting. So it's concatenating it without the line breaks. When this input get line doesn't include the line breaks. Import again. There it is. And then instead of printing it, I would save this metadata back out. But I need to do this first. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. Okay, but you see this pattern? It's very simple. It's probably a little more work than using a resource file and a custom resource. But this is what I'm doing. You can't stop me. I just like files. What can I say? Yeah, and then this would actually just do this loop again. And then for each one, it's going to just save out the level, save out the level, save out the level. So it's going to be another 5 or 6 lines. It should be pretty simple. And then, yeah, I want to do this. I think what I want to do is if the directory already exists, well, let's do this. If, so I've got my input. Input is a type of file. So file has a thing where you can say if input dot file exists, directory. I think file exists works on directories. Level save. Do I not have a variable for that? I'm trying to look up where I save my levels. Oh, there it is. No. I should put this into a variable somewhere instead of, well, yeah, I should. I'm not gonna right now. Close file campaign. Then what I want to do is alter, add a -1 to the folder name. Otherwise, just create the directory to the campaign name. So if you import the same thing over and over, it's going to say, okay, here's the -1, here's the -2, here's the -3, instead of just overwriting it. Or the date, or the time, or some random number, or something. Maybe a hash, I don't know. I'm just going to append something to the campaign name to make it unique. To do. Why is this line red? Oh, that's why. So let's actually check if this works. We can do that by just saying if this exists. If input file exists, user levels. Print. Yeah, levels folder exists. And let's click the import button. And what did it print? Nothing. Nothing. How come it's still printing this out? Did I save this? Parse error. Alright, hold on. Let me rerun this. Okay, so this doesn't work. See, Avi. Actually, I gotta go too. But there must be some other function maybe that checks if a folder exists, a directory exists, file exists. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But the pattern is here. I think this is going to work. And then I'll have an importer. I'll have a working importer, exporter. I'll need to go in here and add some UI. So this import will need to open a file select dialog. The exporter will need to show a notification that it worked. Maybe it just opens the folder where it saved it to. So it doesn't need a notification dialog. You can just say export. The folder pops open. There's your file. Carry on with your life. Importer needs a file selection dialog to appear. Select the file, imports it, and then it would switch to that campaign and show it to you here in the level editor. Yeah. But that'll have to wait. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. I will see you again soon, and I appreciate everybody's help. Thanks for the new follows. And if you don't know the game, please go to gravityace.com. Check out all the things. The game's in early access right now. Tell everybody you know. And I will see you soon. Take it easy, everybody.